With the regional finals behind us, the ALGS Year 3 regular season is done. The 11 North American teams qualifying for the Split 2 playoffs LAN are XSET, DarkZero, Optic, Furia, FaZe, TSM, NRG, Glitch, Energy, 100 Thieves, Complexity, and Luminosity. Today, I'm going to provide you with a recap for the North American regional final and any of the storylines that you may have missed. But first, make sure to subscribe so you can see exactly when I drop the recap for the EMEA regional finals. We need to start this video with the regional final winner, DarkZero. DarkZero and Matchpoint. Name a better duo. They closed out the regional final by winning Game 8. If you've been keeping up, you'll know that Sharky stepped down from DarkZero midway through Split 2. They played their final weeks of the regular season with Rambo, until right before the regional final, DarkZero dropped Rambo and poached Zainu from MeatLovers. You would think that competing with a new player on such short notice would hinder DarkZero's abilities, but it's a clear testament to Zero's skill as an IGL, as he consistently leads his teams to wins despite unexpected changes to their roster. It also helped that Zainu absolutely popped off and finished with 20 kills on the day, second most overall, looking like he's going to be fitting in very well with Jen Burton and Zero. GG, DarkZero takes the day. It is over. This is their first day with Zainu. This team has created a ton of drama throughout the entire split, and they won with Zainu. To no surprise, XSET was dominating the day. They were the first team to hit match point, but the most interesting or even funny thing is that they were competing this well while using some wild compositions. In games 1 and 2, they went with Pathfinder instead of Valkyrie, and the use of Pathfinder's passive to keep getting ziplines over and over again actually made for good rotations. But it was in game 3 when they went with Valk, Maggie, and Fuse to go full aggression and slay out the entire lobby. That XSET wins again, back to back! They're laughing! They're just giggling. That is some of the best edge zone play I've ever witnessed. They were clearly just having fun, but in my opinion, I think they used the regional final as a day to practice different potential compositions since they were comfortably sitting in first place. The biggest focus for XSET now will be closing out on match point. We know how good they are, but to win on LAN, that is what matters the most. And it is the one part of XSET's game that they have struggled with in the past. Energy was one of the biggest stories of the day. Sitting in 12th going into the regional final meant that they needed at least a top 8 to qualify, which on paper doesn't sound too hard. However, once the regional final began, it wasn't looking bright. By the end of game 3, Energy had a total of 6 points. Energy sitting in 19th, it's not looking good. And XSET was on match point. If the tournament ended in the next game, there would be no Energy at LAN. One big game, let's look, 14 kills, they could have a 26-point game. 26 points, right into the top 3. So they just need one game. And in game 4, they caught their break with a 17-point game, putting them into the top 7. In game 6, a 25-point win fully sent them from almost last on the leaderboards to one of the first 4 teams on match point. In the final game, they were the only match point team alive outside of DarkZero. Broken. I don't like Broken. It's a tough building to hold. You get naded out easily. It tends to be very central. I've also watched a lot of Energy footage now. I don't think I've ever seen Energy do anything good in this building. I don't blame them. It just seems like this is where they always get stuck and they always die. Oh no. If they get beamed here, this is going to be devastating. Teams are going to be looking at them, and there you go. Guild dies. It is over. Oh, the bracelet doesn't land either. They're not able to get that reset. Energy's dead. They finished 3rd overall for the day, which shot them up into 6th place for the regular season, and Energy is going to LAN. TSM was looking to have a good day to secure LAN as well. As of the regional final, their chances of making LAN were much better than prior to week 6 of Pro League, but they were not good enough to just coast through. They had a great start with a 2nd place finish and 13 kill game in game 1. 22 points, which actually had them starting off the day in 1st overall. Their next few games, however, didn't go as well as they would have liked.
Yep. I have to go on the gas, I think. It's fine, it's fine. We got resin. I'm dead too. I literally set that. Bro, you guys are fucking trolling! Fucking listen to me!
Split off, completely split off.
Yep, split off. I'm gonna die probably up the air.
Can we land on this guy? Can we land on this guy?
Call you.
Yes.
Bro,
I got here crossing.
jump down, man. Like,
dude, I'm gonna die. I'm 100% gonna die.
Well, we're just gonna play duo, bro. I don't know what to tell you. You can maybe still get down on the low ground.
Just try to go to the pit. Try to go to the pit.
Dead inside.
But their first game performance was enough to maintain them top 5 throughout most of the day, and they achieved match point on game 7. Overall, they finished 6th place for the day, easily qualifying them for LAN. Now for the most heartwarming story of the regional final.
Let's fucking go! Let's go! go!
Monsoon to LAN. If you're not aware, before Monsoon was a pro Apex player, he was actually dealing with homelessness, doing whatever he could to make ends meet, and setting up his PC anywhere he could get Wi-Fi to compete. Over the last 3 years, he has battled hard to make it back to LAN, falling short each time. But alongside Cody and Luda, they finally did it. They were playing good enough through games 2 to 6 to get consistent points, and then in game 7, pull out an 18-point win, which put them on match point. Achieving 8th place on the day gave them enough points overall to get into LAN. Monsoon was overwhelmed from emotion, started crying on stream. Support poured out from the community, especially Nicewig in his chat as he sent a 30,000 viewer raid Monsoon's way. Teams like Furia, Optic, 100 Thieves, Glitch Energy didn't have a great performance, but it wasn't absolutely necessary as they had already done enough prior to the regional finals to qualify for LAN. Now for some of the heartbreaking stories. Elevate, consisting of Zach Mazer, Designful, and Chaotic, entered the regional final in 18th place overall. The only way they could get into playoffs was by winning. I wasn't paying much attention to them early on in the watch party, and I regretted that halfway through when I realized how they were absolutely popping off. It's also a very good game from EA. They have been placing well. They got a lot of points there. They won't be on match point. There might not be much left here because more teams. EA did make match point. Oh my god, that's crazy. Chaotic was going nuts, leading the entire day with 23 kills. And they were the 3rd team on match point, tied with Energy. It would have been the first time a team outside a qualifiable position would have won a regional final and made it to LAN. By this, I mean a team that was sitting outside the top 11. Sadly, in their match point games, they died early both times and never had a chance to fight for the win. Similarly, Sentinels had to get a win to go to LAN. They were having a massive game in game 7 with 13 KP and had a really good position to win the game. TSM was stuck between Sentinels and Complexity and had to choose which team to push in the final circle. By choosing to push Sentinels, they managed to kill them and knock them out in 3rd place. This caused Sentinels to miss hitting match point by 2 points. Look at Sentinels. That is gut-wrenching. If TSM doesn't push Sentinels, they make match point. They did cross the 50-point threshold in game 8, but unfortunately this was the game that DarkZero won, and they never got their opportunity to try and close out the tournament. WildCard died to TSM in game 1 due to Shubi no-regging his shots against Imperial Hal.
I know rigged. The Horizon's one.
If Shubi kills Hal, the potential points gained in that game could have been enough for them to qualify for LAN. So a devastating situation all around. LANimals did their best and had some strong games early on, but unfortunately didn't do enough to make top 4. This was the team that I was rooting for the most, but at the very least, it seems they have a positive mindset going into the future. Perhaps the most heartbreaking story of them all was MeatLovers. As I mentioned in my last video, it's clear that Tech has a strong passion for competing in Apex, seen by juggling a busy life and his persistence to keep going, although often being dealt an unfair hand. For context, Tech is responsible for scouting and recruiting both Panders and Zero Tricky for Furia. 2 days before the Year 2 Last Chance qualifier, Tech was terminated from Furia. Furia then went on to win LCQ and make it to LAN. On his next team, he scouted Luxford, who was then poached by Complexity. And once again, he lost Zainu to DarkZero just hours before the roster lock. Zainu finished the Year 3 Split 2 regular season with most kills overall, and as mentioned, he went on to put up 20 kills for DarkZero, just rubbing salt in the wound for MeatLovers. From being a top team throughout the entire split, they missed LAN qualification by 2 points, which is really tough to see for a free agent team. Tech has been so close to succeeding several times, just to be shot down by things that are out of his control. His persistence is admirable, but it's also hard for someone in this situation to keep pushing forward. He posted a twit longer venting these frustrations, so I'd appreciate if you can go over and show him some support so that he doesn't give up. Hopefully, Respawn can add protections in the future for free agent teams so that their players aren't as easily poached. LAN isn't out of the question for any of these teams. They can compete in the last chance qualifiers where 2 spots are available for the ALGS Year 3 Championship. It won't be easy, but it's their only choice. And I'll be covering it all here on YouTube and on Twitch. So see you there.